Right, so here's a very late portfolio update. I'm going to try and get straight to it. You're probably going to watch this before market opens, I hope. Starting with DXY. Now, DXY has broken out of this descending. Well, that's nice. Now, next thing for me, extra confirmation was a close above 105. To be honest, we were millimeters away. We didn't actually close above 105. What did we do? We back tested the breakout of the descending, and now we're just sort of we're supposed to be bouncing off that. So far, so good, by the way, on a daily perspective. We did close pretty much on the descending again. That's 2 days in a row, after this drop where we closed at low of day. It kept going the next day, but still closed again on the descending. And then the move back up on Friday, to be honest, pretty weak because it closed far off its high of day. But anyway, we're bobbling along the descending, which is actually what you're supposed to do. Question is now, do we go back up and close above 105? And if we do, we should go up to 106 and then 107. Or do we go back down into the descending? You know what? I don't care. I don't care because it doesn't matter what the dollar does. It doesn't matter what yield does. The yields, sorry, 30, 10, 2s. We'll take a look at that now. Gold and silver just keep going up. It doesn't even matter what the market does. Now, I do want to suggest that if the market all of a sudden starts to crash, which can happen any day, long overdue, then you'll probably, but not definitely, but you'll probably get the miners come down a little bit. They'll probably outperform the market still. I don't know. It's hard to call whether they'll actually go up. I mean, maybe gold goes up, but the miners go down. But if it's a financial crisis, maybe it goes up. Either way, you're going to be outperforming the markets as we have been doing for some weeks now. So DXY, it's typical of me to go over the DXY first, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. And to be honest, if it goes up and gold and the miners go up, that's my favorite scenario anyway. Because if we're going up the DXY, imagine when the DXY goes down. So, just remember that we've taken out this descending, we're back testing, but maybe we go test 105 and close above it, then we expect continuation. That should keep a bit of a lid on the move up, but so far it hasn't. And if we go back down, that'll be extra explosive for commodities all around. Let's take a look at yields. Yields, look at that. High of day close. I mean, it was sort of continuation pattern, right? Higher highs, higher lows, boom, boom. Then we touched this on a horizontal, so we didn't make really a higher high. Came down. I did say we would curl. We did curl. We went back up here. And to be honest, there's continuation. So we're going back up. Then, I don't know, do we start hitting this? Do we go? The different yields have their different price targets. So I'm not too sure what to call here. Maybe there's no point in just plucking a number out of thin air. Maybe let's see if we can touch the ascending, the upper end of this ascending. I do see a bit of resistance at 4.8 on the 10-year, maybe another one, a different yield, like the 10-year has a clearer resistance. So that will create the resistance for all of them, let's say. So the 10-year, I would say 4.5, it's a decent number. You can see a bit of resistance there, a bit of support. It's very light, maybe 4.5. The 2-year, that one is probably clearer, the clearest out of all of them, 5%, but that's quite a move up. That's probably a bigger move than the other one. So I don't know if we get there in one go, 5%, it can be done. But you can see how we closed the high of day. That's a pretty big move in yields. Obviously, we had the jobs number, such good job number. We all know that it's all illegal immigrants, part-time, fudge data, but, the market moves in a certain way. And actually, gold is seeing through it. It's probably the first sector of the market to see through the fake numbers, but they've always been fake. But look, yields closing at high of day. This suggests the rate hikes are, well, let's just say the rate cuts are not necessarily as priced in as they used to be. We're not definitely having 3 rate cuts or 4 or 5 or higher rate cuts. Now it's more like fewer, or we're going to hold the current rate pace that we have in place. So, the rate cuts are being discounted, let's say. So yields go up, the dollar should go up. And to be honest, gold should go down, but isn't. So to summarize, yields are outperforming the dollar, but both are going up. Now, what is the effect on gold and silver? That's the effect. We don't care. It's business as usual. We're just doing a monster move and closing a high of day. And if time didn't run out, we'd be at 23.50 or something. So gold, I mean, it's just total breakout. Obviously, we've been consolidating for a long time. So the bigger the consolidation, the higher the move. Honestly, I don't know what to say. I don't know if we're going to be coming down much. Normally, it's different this time. You know, it's really different. You can feel it. It's every single star is aligned, from technical to fundamental to monetary to geopolitical to the psychological, you know, just every single angle you want to cover. The dips are being bought. You've got the central banks buying. Now you've probably got retail, but it's the very, very beginning. But some retail, maybe some bigger institutions are starting to take a look. I don't feel like this is something that will come down much. I feel like there is so much dip buying because so many people are aware of this breakout, or those that count are aware of, you know, like central banks. They're not looking to flip this. They're not looking to sell this and buy back $200 lower. It's just, we're not going to sell, but we're going to buy if it comes down. It just feels different. And to be honest, we should be way higher. So gold is just on a tear, and it's beautiful. It's long overdue. Let's take a look at silver. I'm not even going to cover the support, to be honest, because I don't think we're going to come down too much. Silver, high of day close. I didn't really finish on gold, but I don't know what else. Let me just go back to gold. Support, I mean, you'd need to give me several days of sideways. Like, for example, where was the last time I trimmed? Because I've been trimming miners ever so lightly, because I believe we're going at 3,000, 5,000, and I don't want to be selling too much into this. I know that the money is made in the patient long-term move. And after all this waiting, I don't want to be selling after 50% move and you know, watching it go up by I don't know, 380% in the next 2 years or something. So here I trimmed a little bit. I'll get back to this when I'm looking at the miners, and we did kind of have a down day in the miners. It's probably best if I cover in the miners, but I did think that it's not going to be much of a down move. And look at this, bam, on Friday. You know, Thursday we had a bit of the first red candle, let's say. But look what happens on Friday. Obviously, Friday was jobs day, but this suggests we're going higher. Obviously, where do we go? I don't know, 2,500. That's just the number I'm plucking out thin air. I mean, it gets easy when you look at when the market's moving and you're looking at DXY and yields, but to be honest, they're not really having much impact. Maybe it's silver. Maybe silver still needs to reach its resistance of 30. Okay, let's take a look at silver. The silver closed a high of day. Also, you know, I remember we closed about 26, then we closed about 27. Then we had our first red day, but it was an indecisive red day. It was just more like sideways consolidation. And now we've got, look at this, by the way, this Friday candle is really bullish because we did a nice low and we closed a high of day. It's just absolutely ferocious candle. We're not done. Where do we go next in silver? We go to 28. We may even go a bit above 28. 28 is not the biggest resistance. It is resistance. It's not the biggest. It's a bit like 27. It should be a bit stronger than 27, but honestly, it's all about 30. So when we get to 30, wherever gold is, expect it to pull back a bit. I mean, that's what I'm going to say about gold. It's all about silver 30 because gold has no limit right now. So it's all about that silver 30, but first stop 28. There you go. Miners. Beautiful. Following the metals. Following the metals, starting to outperform, not starting to outperform, continuing to outperform after having underperformed for so long. Now, GDXJ, look where we are. Again, remember gold and silver, high of day close, we're going higher. And actually the market opens in 5 minutes. But that's going to be soft trading. GDXJ is nearing the double resistance. It pretty much touched it basically on Friday, which is, in my opinion, 42.3, let's say. All right, you can see here, a bit of sideways action. And also, look at this descending. So that is resistance. If we pop our head above 44, that's extra resistance. But that's after breaking out. So do we close above 42, let's say 50? That should be good. Otherwise, 44 to 45, that should be also resistance. So that's all I'll say about GDXJ. The support is just going to be the horizontal below, but I haven't spoken about support for a while, and I don't think I should bother starting. Support is something to be bought. 40 for GDXJ. If we keep going lower, 38, but I expect some vicious buying. And I honestly, at least for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I don't expect us to be going as low as 30 on GDXJ. But if we do, I'll probably make a video straight away because that will be a massive opportunity. I am buying the dip, but not the first dip, the sort of the second level dip, if you will. GDX has only one resistance, and that is 36. I see clear skies for 36. I think the way gold and silver is closed, that's something that's quite realistic. You know, how much of a move is that? 6%? Yeah, why not? You could do 6% one day the way we're doing at the moment. So GDX, that's the seniors. And I think they have a bit of catching up to do with the juniors because the juniors have had a decent ride the last couple of trading days. So otherwise support 32.5, pretty big range from where it is now. It's in the middle of no man's land. You know, it's almost 7% on the way up, and then let's say 4% on the way down. Yeah, I agree with all these support. This support actually not so much. This one honestly is probably here, just above 30. Let's call it 30.5. It's not that obvious though. Not that obvious. Okay, SILJ. Now, SILJ, I've mentioned already, we took out this descending and then it kept going, and look at this closed out high day. I mean, this has outperformed overall. Let's say next resistance is just a bit above 11.4, let's say, which is like, I don't know, less than 1%. Oh no, okay. Wow, 2% move. That's easy. That's done pre-market almost. And then after that, you've got this absolute high of 12, let's call it. And that's, look at that. That's also the high of all the way back here. And that's the high of several months. So, you know, this 2% can be done easy, 11.5 and then 12. Pretty nice and simple. And on the way down, it's going to be this horizontal, you know, just above 10.5. Let's call it 10.5. And after that, it's a big drop to about 10 or just below. Those are the levels I'm watching on the miners, but I'm pretty comfortable with it going higher. I do think that, you know, remember to zoom out. Maybe not SILJ, doesn't have that much of a history, but GDXJ, look at that. You know what I mean? We've had a nice bounce from here. It's 30 to 40%. But I mean, we have astronomical moves ahead of us, and we deserve to wait. I mean, most of the money is made in the patient move. So, but me, I am trimming. I'll get to my portfolio now, but I am trimming ever so lightly. It's just so that because I was quite heavily in, I like to see more cash on the sidelines as my account grows. My account's grown quite a lot the last couple of weeks, as you can imagine. And I like to have the cash on the sidelines because, first of all, it's generating a bit of interest, which is nice, like 5%. You know, I'm in Interactive Brokers, which is basically 4.5 to 5%. But it's more for the mental reasons. I like to, first of all, know that I have more powder on the sidelines if things dip. I do intend to buy back. That's not why I sell, but you know, just in case there's an almighty crash, you can always be surprised. You know, this market has humbled me at least 10 times, 10 big times. So I know that no matter how much, like even now, all the stars are aligned, but I know something can happen. And then all of a sudden, GDX is down 10% in one day. I mean, that I can't think of what it would be that does that. I could probably theorize one or two things, but I know it's possible. So, you know, it's always good to have cash on the sidelines. Plus, you're generating a bit of income through the interest, and it's just to know that, you know, you've had this huge move. At least you've taken something off. Like, then at least if the next day it drops 6%, you can't go, oh my God, no, I didn't take advantage. I'm such an idiot. You did trim something. So, and for me, it's usually like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% max. And you can always sell something 5%, you know. So yeah, and I've done this for some time, so it has worked. And every time I do it, sometimes I regret it because the next day it's up another 6%. But as soon as the miners come down, we know we've had that for years. I always look back and say, oh, I should have sold more, but at least I sold. I'm always happy that. So it's more like a psychological hedge, right? Let's go straight to the portfolio. Newmont, which had a nice day, by the way, on Friday. 5% is a little abnormal for Newmont when its competitors are up like 2, not even 3%. So it outperformed its immediate peers. But look at this. We've taken out, in my opinion, in my chart, the descending. And I might be off by 1 or 2%, 1 or 2 millimeters, but actually, I think I was extra conservative. So we definitely took it out, in my opinion. It would have been good to close above 40, but I'll take it. Next stop. I mean, look, you see this little high here. You know, we hit it here. Let's call it 41. Hit it there. We hit it there. We hit it a little bit here. I mean, we did gap and run a bit above, but then it became resistance there also. 41's a bit of a level, but I'm not interested in 41 because we're at 40. Zoom out, right? Remember where you are. Look at me saying, oh, 41. I'm not trimming at 41. I nibbled a tiny bit at 40. Now, 40 for me is not resistance. It's just, it was a crazy close. Everything was up. Newmont was up 5%. 40 is a bit of a psychological number. And I trimmed the smallest amount. Like, I don't even know what it is in percentage terms. It's probably 1%. So I almost shouldn't say I trimmed, but sometimes I do that. Just the nibble, the small nibble. And if I do that to all 20 stocks or however many I've got, it becomes a nice little trim. Another way of putting it is whatever, let's say I made 5,000 on Friday. Well, I sold 2,500. You know, so it's like the holding of my miners is worth more on Monday than it was on Friday, but half of the money I made, I've just put on the sidelines. So not even half. I could have sold all of the money I made. Like I could have, let's say 5,000 I made on Friday. I could have just taken 5,000 out, and that would be fine too, because I was already quite heavy on Thursday night. But yeah, I just took out half. So for me, it's like feeling a little invincible. If it goes down, fine. Maybe I should have sold more. But if it goes up, that's fine. I sold very little. My miners are worth even more by the end on Friday than it did on Thursday. So it's kind of tails I win, heads you lose, the market loses, let's say. So it's the smallest nibble, but you know, it all sums up in the end. When you do it to all of them, it's a bit of a compounding effect. So next up, I see really the next resistance is 42. Let's say just a bit above 42.5, actually 42.48 or 49, I would sell. That's my next stop. After that, honestly, I just see that 46 makes sense, right? 42.5 and then 46 on Newmont. Support, I guess the horizontal, but I'm not really paying much attention. I don't think it'll be the descending because we just took it out. It's too early. And if there's a real retracement, I wouldn't just buy on the retracement here. That's too small. I would want a serious retracement to something like 35 or something. Then I would probably be quite aggressive. I'm not in a rush to buy back too quickly. Let's say Barrick Gold. Did I nibble this? I think I nibbled most of them, like this again, the smallest nibble, like 1 or 2%. Just because you can see the horizontal I've had already. So 7, well, let's call it 18, right? But just below 18. I think I sold 17.89 or something probably. But you can see actually touched 18, closed below it. We've hit a tiny resistance, but again, I think we can go up a little bit more to here, 18.5. Would I sell that? Probably not, because I've already trimmed to 18. I just want to take care of this entire zone. So 18.5. After that, big number, 20, it's resistance. I know we've been a bit above, but I think it's a big number. I think the fact that we've been above and quickly below makes it resistance. And more importantly, by the time we get to 20, we are encountering local chart resistance, descending, very big resistance. So for me, and I think we'll take it out and keep running, right? Anyway, because of gold, silver fundamentally, but 18.5 is resistance. I'm not selling there. I've already done it. Next one, 20. I probably would trim there. Something, 1 or 2%, keep going, right? And then when it starts to look toppy, then I'll take another, probably take 5% out. You can always sell more. You know, it's just on the way up, I like to trim. And then once it starts to level off, look a bit weaker, I'll sell a bit more. And if it starts like it's going to go down, I'll sell a bit more. And overall, it's 10%, which is nothing. But still, it's better than selling nothing, I think. It depends on your strategy, your tax rate, and how aggressive you are, your time horizon, and all that stuff. But that's the way I do it. Next one, Agnico-Eagle. I mean, just, you know, resistance was 61-ish. Kept going. I don't know if I sold this one. I think I sold this one on Thursday. And I think it was the 61 zone. I think I did like 60.99 or something. It was obviously going to go there. It was stronger than all the others. Everything was moving up. I just wanted to trim something because I hadn't sold anything since a while back. So again, 1 or 2%, boom, out. Kept going. Next stop, 66. Clearly, in my opinion, it could go a little higher, 60, 67 even. But I'm looking at these candles here and I'm thinking, okay, 66 was resistance back there. That's why this was 66, just kept going. So for me, 66 is good. You know, it's better than that you get your fill at 66, then you have it at 67 and never gets there and it comes all the way back down. But then again, long term, I think Agnico-Eagle goes all the way up anyway. So yeah, 66. After that, I've got 74. Could say 72, but I've got 74, and then it's probably 76, and it's all the way up here. Let's zoom out. This is just all-time highs. We're obviously going there, and that's pretty close. You can see we've taken out this ascending. Look how important it is now. Doesn't take much to go all the way up here. You've got a lot of other stocks where reaching their 2011 and their 2020 highs is far, far away, but this one you can see quite easily. And this is definitely justified, this stock here. This is a monster. I still think this is the best senior there is. Yeah. Support, I'm not going to talk about support. I'm just, that's how bullish I am. I suppose it's a contrarian indicator, but I mean, no, 61. If you're going to drop, you're going to drop more than 61. I would say 57 to 56, let's say, something like that. 57, just to be sure you get it, because this is such bullish momentum at the moment that you wouldn't want to wait at 56 then miss it. It goes to 57.11 and it jumps. So I'll say 57, and then after that, we'll see. I could actually delete this descending, but I'll keep it because it looks good. Reminds me how strong we are. Next one, Pan American Silver, finally above 17. So that's what we needed. We needed that Friday to do because it still hadn't done it. That was, for me, resistance, 17. It's just, you know, we were hanging around near 17. Friday's jobs, gold, silver, miners go up goes Pan America. Next stop, 18.5, clearly. After that, 9, it's not even 20, it's actually 19.5. I'd be tempted to say 19.5 more than 20. I mean, it never got to 20. 19.5/19.9, let's say. But I'd probably sell it. I'd probably sell a tiny bit at 19.48 and 49 or something, just to make sure, you know, I've sold that zone in case it never gets to 20. But again, very light, because this is probably the best stock to be in, actually. I mean, silver's on a tear. If silver takes out 30 and runs, this is probably the best silver stock to be in. I don't know all my stuff about the miners, but from the little I know and from the chart I see, this is worth it. So trust me, I'm nibbling very small. It's all mental health stuff. You know, it's 1 or 2%. It really is. So those are the levels. On the way down, I feel silly suggesting what to buy on the way down, but I wouldn't buy 17 because we've just taken it out. And if we have a drop, it'll be far more. I think 15.5-ish would be a good buy, because I think this will be one of the best buys, the dip buys on a retracement. I mean, the fact that it's even below 20 is utterly absurd. It should be in the 30s. Basically, it should be. And I think we're going to hit this long-term descending. Look at this beautiful trend line. That is so like, this makes sense, right? This is not some luck generated randomly chart. fact that these descending all-time highs are just, you know, intersecting. I think we're going to go all the way up there. So 40 is in the cards, and to be talking about nibbling below 20, you know, trust me, I'm talking very small numbers. So there you go, 18.5, just below 20 resistance on the way up. Otherwise, 15.5 on the dip if it ever happens. Next one, SSRM. Now, this one's really interesting because it has not really taken part like the others in the major rally. And that's what happens when you're, sorry, when you're in stocks that have had it, that have had their own move. Geez, what have I done to this chart here? This obviously had its own local news. So the chart, the mine was, well, we've all seen the video, right? It collapsed on itself. So it got decimated. To be honest, at 10, I thought it was a hell of a buy. And then the mining collapses. And then I get lucky enough to make my first entry around here. I'm above average. I would say obviously, but it's not that obvious. My average is like 4.5, but thereabouts. So now I said I would nibble out at 4.89, and I did. I did a tiny nibble at 4.89 just because for me it's resistance. It's the resistance of the whole move since we settled down here. You know, we bounced. I think this is when all the miners were going down. It was very strong. And then it started to just consolidate and drift sideways as the miners started to really get strong. And now we've had a late rally. So this kind of does its own thing. But when it's feeling strong and the miners are rallying, it feels strong too. But sometimes it really is working independently to the miners and the metals. With that said, I still think resistance is pretty much where I nibbled out. So it's actually 4.95 or something. So just below 5 is resistance, which is why I trimmed the tiniest amount. This is actually a really heavy holding for me. I think it's my heaviest holding. I don't think it will go up more than the others. It's just, I went in pretty hard here and then I just left it. And then it started to, the value was dropping, you know, and then others were starting to be worth more. And then since this pop, it's just gone back to being worth a lot. The others are worth a lot too, because no matter how much I nibble out, their value is just going up and up and up. But I think SSRM is actually currently my heaviest holding. Now, if this starts to pop, there is no resistance for me until pretty much 8. And I say that because of this. So I would actually, I think I got my sell at probably 7.49. Actually, my first sell. Well, my first big sell, but I think I am starting to do tiny nibbles out like 5.49, 5.99, 6.49, 6.99. This is just the way I do it. And just tiny sells just to keep it. It'll still be worth more and more, and it's going to be worth ridiculous amounts if it starts to do this rise. But just to take something off, again, for like psychological hedging purposes. But I think once we get to 7.49, that's when I start to take a decent amount out. Yes, this belongs in the 20s and more and all that, but I mean, nothing goes up in a straight line. I prefer to sell this and buy something else back by IM Gold on a real retracement. So I did my first nibble out of 4.89. My next one is, I think it's 5.49, 5.99, 6.49, 6.99, 7.49. That one there will be the first heavy one. You can see how this line should probably be here, actually. And that's probably why, yeah. And then once we go up, boom, boom, boom. But again, by the time we get to 10, I'm not all out, you know. I'm sort of like probably half out or a bit more than half out on what I've got currently. So, but yeah, at that point, it's you know, there'll be a lot of resistance by the time it gets up here. So that money is better deployed elsewhere. Support, honestly, I was holding this the whole way down. So support, I mean, I don't know, 4.2, I'll say. This could have a bit of a drop, this one. It's not strong like the others fundamentally because it's coming out of its own. I don't know, 4.5, 4.2. I'm more likely to probably buy back at 4.2. Right, let's go on to the royalties. Wheaton is one of the strongest royalty ones I own. I mean, this was beautiful. Bought this dip, didn't really buy into the news that it's weak. Just because it says it's going to go up 50% in 5 years. It's, how much percent has it done actually? Yeah, it's already done 32% in like 5 weeks, so that's pretty cool. Oh, Bob, I think I trimmed this. I trim? Yes, I trimmed 51. I think I did 50.89 or 99, typical stuff that I would do. Small trim. Now, I expect to go higher. I mean, closed below weak local resistance. So, if gold and silver continue, which I think they will, I think we're going to get to this 52, 53 zone. It's very rare that I have ascending resistance like this, but I think, see, I wasn't sure whether it's going to be this previous high here, the horizontal, or a sloping ascending, which is going to be the resistance, but either way, it's the same thing, right? It's like 52.5 or 53, same thing. But I won't sell into that. It's just resistance I've identified. And now after that, the next one, 58, that probably is going to be resistance because that's all-time high. So the next nibble I do will actually be all-time high in Wheaton. After that, I have this theory that it may hit another resist, but I don't care. I'm willing to hold this for a long, long time. Wheaton is a very well-run company. I think it's important to have seniors, medium tiers, silvers, and streamers. And I prefer the best streamers. For me, Wheaton, Franco-Nevada, probably the best two. I'm not an absolute expert, but that's my understanding. At least the chart helps out there too. And I think if gold and silver keep going up for 1, 2, 3, 5 years, which I expect, Wheaton will be higher. It'll be a very strong, safe stock to be in that makes money no matter what happens. And in this case, the money they're making from their vassals will be extra safe because those companies are going to be in an extra sound condition. So Wheaton looks good. Next sell will be 58. The buy, I haven't even considered buying it because for me it'd have to drop a lot, and that means going down. I don't know. No comment on the buy. I'd be looking at other stocks to buy. I think, like I said, the buy will be the retracement will be shallow, not deep, and will be bought aggressively. And I don't think Wheaton is the place to be buying. I think it would be like Coeur d'Alene or where else? First Majestic would be a good one to buy. I'll get to those obviously. Agnico-Eagle will probably be better. You probably make more money holding Agnico-Eagle and American Silver. But Wheaton wouldn't be the place I'm going to aggressively buy a dip that I expect to not last long in. Right, Metalla. Metalla's done okay. It didn't close at the high of, period. Like I would have preferred if it closed above 3.5. But I think this is one when you zoom out, it's a streamer. It's a good one. It's more like, I don't want to say a junior streamer, but it's not as much of a senior as Wheaton or Franco-Nevada. This one should really be going up, like testing 6 by now. I know it's 3.3, so this one's going to make a big move as long as gold holds, which it will, in my opinion. But, I would have expected it to be a bit more aggressive so far. I actually don't know if I sold. I may have sold 3.49 or something, but it'll be very weak, very weak. I have not sold anything substantial. I think we're going to go to 3.99. Okay, so the high of here, like 3.65, I think we'll get to that. I'm not willing to sell into that. I'm looking for a bit of a bigger move. We should be testing 4 soon, so 3.99 will probably be my next trim. I haven't checked. I put some good till cancels in, but and all the stocks. But oh, the light went out, whatever. But yeah, $4 probably the next real resistance. Don't know if I'll send into that. And after that should be 4.4. I probably will send into that just as my first real sell. And then 4.4, and then after that, it's probably the move up to 5, and then it's going to be 6. 6 is a bigger one. There you can see we've hit resistance more decisively. And the buys, I'm not interested in buying more in Metalla. I've got enough in that. That's okay. And again, it's not my first go-to stock when it comes to retracements. Right, next one is going to be First Majestic. Now we get to the silver stocks. Look at this monster, absolute monster. I'm not sure which one's done better, First Majestic or Couer, but this is really just verticalness It's 50% in like 2 weeks. It's really straight up. It's beautiful. And normally when I see a stock like this, I'd say watch the drop, but yeah, I don't know how much of a drop it's going to have. It's just strong every day, even after going up a lot. And I've seen some, Nvidia's go up non-stop, but this one is more justified. And the dip will be bought. For me, let's cover the support first. Support, you'd expect $7, but if it has an aggressive drop, I think it'll be 6.5. Next resistance, yeah, 6.5 for me would be the first support. I would probably buy 6.5. Normally I wouldn't, but knowing what's going on at the moment, I might actually buy 6.5. All those nibbles out, all those nibbling out that I did in all the stocks, that's when they'd start coming in handy. I'd buy back 6.5, and if it keeps going, yeah, 5.8, maybe 6, depends what the stock's like. I don't think we go lower. But anyway, on the way up, next stop 8, which we pretty much tested when we were at 7.89 or whatever we were at. That's the same as 8, but we'll take out 8. Imagine silver at 28, right? First Majestic's at 8. Next stop after that, 9. This is simple. These were lines I drew. I don't know when I drew, but I can't believe we're talking about 9 and maybe even 10. Right, next stop after 9 is going to be, well, 9.8, 9.9, which is the same as 10. And then you're at $10 First Majestic. And we were looking down here at $4 like a few weeks ago. And I was saying you guys should buy that. I didn't because I was stuck buying something else elsewhere. But there you go. The absolute bottom. Remember looking at this ascending. Now how much of a genius do you look like? Very nice. And after 10, whoa, then it's 14.5. I remember this zone. Yeah, wow. That's your First Majestic. Amazing. Next one, Fortuna. I put the light back on, but I don't want to interrupt the work. Look at this. Just like AG's stock, straight up, Fortuna. All those horizontals taken out, 4.2 taken out. Next one, which hasn't really, like these 4.5s, 4.6 levels, that was, early 2022, bam, taken that out. Where do we close? We close 4.7 something, and we're way beyond the highs from all the way. Next stop, honestly, 5.2, 5.5. 5.5 is the next big stop. Big resistance. I don't see $5 as resistance. Even 5.2, wow, 5.5. And then where are we at? After 5.5, the next one is the low of this, 2020 COVID squeeze craze. So that's how fast we're reaching certain levels. We're 2 levels away, 1 level away, really. Once you take out 5.5 and Fortuna, the next level is COVID squeeze sort of range bound levels. Now, imagine, it just going up like this. That's you need to sell into that. That's just too much of a vertical move. But that's what I do. Now, did I sell into this 4.2 or 4? I think I have been nibbling out of Fortuna. Tiny stuff, doesn't matter. It's still worth, if you remember, I have my sort of light, medium, and heavy holding range. Fortuna is still way above my heavy range. Like I'm heavily overweight Fortuna despite the nibbling out. So that's how weak the nibbles are. And I'm happy because it's just kept on going. Support on the way down, it's a bit like AG First Majestic. If there was a big drop, I wouldn't buy anything until maybe, I don't know. I actually don't know yet. Honestly, 3.6, that's when I'd start getting aggressive. But you never know. I may buy early. Depends what's going on. Right, next one is Keldarklen, my absolute favorite. And I kept on saying how this was the best of the best when it came to moves up. I don't know, maybe First Majestic has beaten it, but I don't care. I own that one too. I mean, it's up 100% pretty much from this level, the 2.5 zone. And I was buying it at 2. So that's really nice. So it closed also high of day, took out its, highs of the week, which is nice. It's in the middle of a range. For me, next resistance, 5.3. Let me just check this. Yeah, 5.3, 5.5, 5.3 is the same thing. Would I nibble out of 5.3? So I remember selling 4.49-ish, 4.849, but 5.3 is substantially higher. I think I am selling like small 1-2%. I know Keltachlen. I know that it belongs basically at $10 and it will get there. That's what I know. I know Keltachlen's at $10. So why am I going to even sell at 5? Well, I am for the same reasons I've already stipulated, right? It's a psychological hedge thing. In case I'm wrong, at least I sold something. Or it's nice to see cash on the sidelines. Cash is king. I get good interest, but I just don't want to be too heavily in any stock. And I don't need that much in miners to make it. My objective is to retire on this, and I don't need to be 100% in, and I don't need curl to just grow, 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 grow. In case I'm wrong, a small nibble out will make massive positive effect to my portfolio overall. So if I'm wrong, I could still really come out with this on top, and could still help me achieve my goal of retiring early. If I keep nibbling out, if these go up for another 1 or 2 months and then it crashes, it doesn't even matter the amount of money I would have made by nibbling out, and the amount of money I would avoid losing, the profit I would avoid losing by nibbling out would probably be still life-changing. So, it's like people who made so much money with Bitcoin as it went up. I would just say to them, like, sell something. Like if they think Bitcoin's going to 1 million, but if it does, you're going to make so much money. If it doesn't, it just stops where you are now. You're still in a life-changing situation. Then no, I'm keeping it all in, and then it would crash, and then that's it. They're back to where they were before the whole run started. Whereas if they'd sold just a little bit, they would be super rich, and they could buy back. So anyway, that's a different cause altogether. So Coeur d'Arlène, 5.3 next stop. After that, you can see 6 for support, but I don't know if it's going to be resistance. It's not like there was a candle that went up to 6 after and then became resistant. It's just prior support, but yeah, it's not as obvious. It's not like this zone here, for example, right? Let's call it 4.3. You can see its support here, but you can see its resistance. So it's both, but you don't see that here, at $6, except for it being a round number. So the point is, after 5.3, 5.5, I'm not sure whether 6 is resistance or whether we go all the way up to 7.5, which is clearer resistance. It was also support back here. But anyway, that's a problem I look forward to having. And I might just nibble out 1-2% here, and then that's taken care of. Up it goes. And if it comes back down, good. I sold anyway. But for me, immediately next stop, 5.3 to 5.5, that maybe a little 1% out will be nice and adorable, and then go a bit higher. Amazing. Keltalen on the way up is just absolutely exhilarating stuff. Discovery. I remember this. I remember saying we're going to go to 70. Here we are at 70. We haven't closed above 70. Next stop, a close above 70. What do we do after that? Well, I've got this level all the way up here, which is just below 90. Let's call it 89. But I have noticed a small mini pit stop zone here, and let's call it 75. Decent number also. Now, we take out 70. That's a big move, and we're still far away from where we should be. So I don't think 75 is much other than like a 1 or 2 hour pit stop, maybe even a 1-day pit stop, but up we go higher. But still, I just feel like pointing that out. 75 could be something. But yeah, otherwise, up we go to 89. And after that, 1. And 1 is a big number. I expect us to get there soon. We just need to close above 70. Support on the way down. I don't think I even mentioned that in Coeur d'Arlène. I'm really not thinking about support, but I would say under 60. I don't think we're going to go that far down, but this is the only junior I own, and we know juniors, when they lack liquidity, they can definitely flush. Right, next one, EXK. This one's had a hell of a run. This one ran more and earlier than the others, but still it goes up. But it did get decimated. I remember being scared down here. I didn't buy this. I swear, from like, I don't know, my last buy was probably 1.8 something, and then all the way down from 1.8 to 1.4 something. I just didn't buy. I said, okay, forget it, just buy elsewhere. This one is, there's something wrong with it. Obviously, I regret not buying the lows, but I mean, I'm above my average. This was one of my weakest ones. I think my average like 2.6 or 2.7, and I'm above it, or 2.5 something. But I'm above my average. I'm surprised it was that fast. And I've nibbled out a tiny bit. Only recently, though. I think my first nibble was like 2.29 just because of this. But it was light. And then after that, yeah, 2.74 or something, just because you can see how much of a strong support it was there. So I expected resistance. And there was a bit of resistance, but there you go. Jobs Friday. So next, where do we go? $3, big round number. Also resistance here. Now watch out. We're encountering a bit of a descending here. So after 3, it's quite hard for me to call, because on the one hand, I want to say this descending, right? Starting from here, that should be something. We've just taken out 3. And this is such clear resistance. This horizontal is so clear. Look at that 1, 2, 3. You could say 4 because look at support there. And then 5 here, and it would be 6. So this is gonna happen just below 4. So if I'm selling, again, tiny nibble out of 3, do I bother with just 329? It's probably 329. Do I bother? Another tiny nibble, and then up here, another tiny nibble. Do I bother? I'm just not sure about this descending, that's all. 3, I think I want to nibble out of. Thing is, I've already nibbled at 275. It depends on my mood. But again, 1 or 2% will do nothing to my holding value. And it's just a little extra, 3, 4, 500 bucks on the sidelines. It's kind of beautiful to watch the cash grow as the portfolio and the holding in the miners still grow. It's like invincibility. Support, don't know if I'll buy this. I think I prefer others. I just don't trust it after this drop. But otherwise, the first clear buy would be like 2.3. Next one, Mag Silver. This one, my worst stock, but it's a silver stock, so up it goes. Yes, I sold at 2 places. I sold at 11.19, and I sold at 12 or 11.99. I think it was 12.19. It's the same thing. I keep getting confused, but I sold this horizontal. I sold this horizontal, put it that way. Now, I really don't like this stock. I didn't like this one. I didn't like EXK. EXK has definitely made up for it. This one, it's done okay, but it's just something I don't trust about it. It's just, I don't know. I zoom out and it's just taken out this descending. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt, but at the moment, my strategy, my objective is to completely liquidate this. And I think I can do it in 3 or 4 trades. I've done these tiny nibbles, that's cute, but now my average is like 13 point something. So as soon as I go above here, 13.4, I can start selling aggressively. And then I know that in the end, I get out of Mag Silver in the black, which is actually quite impressive because it's been garbage. But, once imagine silver at 30, just testing 30, even if it fails, Mag Silver should be like, I don't know, honestly, 17. So I can make still decent money on this one. Anything with silver in the name, it's a bit like those stocks where they just put crypto or Bitcoin or AI, anything with silver would just get bought. And this is a decent stock, a decent company as far as I know. Nothing fundamentally wrong with it. I just don't like the stock, but that could change, just like it did with the XK. Now, so far, it's gone vertically up also. Maybe not as much as the others, but next stop, 13.5. I think I'll be selling 13.39, tiny amount. Now, once we go above that, it depends how good silver's chart looks, but I may start getting a bit more aggressive because I just prefer to have the proceeds from Mag Silver dispersed amongst Curve, amongst probably Heckler, although Heckler's gone up quite a lot, but still think you can make more buying Heckler than you can in Mag. But otherwise, yeah, CDE, EXK, Fortuna, First Majestic, whatever, just spread it amongst them. But yeah, here are the horizontal levels I'm looking at. After 14.5, yes, there'll probably be some pit stops in the way, but I'm looking for this big 17 move. And obviously that means selling at 1689. I'm not into big numbers. I'm into just below or just above. Right, after Mag Silver, Aris Mining. Honestly, guys, I'm sorry. The fact that I've gone dark on the picture, the fact that it's late, and the fact that I'm absolutely knackered from a lot of sunshine today, I think I'm going to have to just do my portfolio. But you guys own a lot of my stocks anyway. Right, Aris Mining. This one has done fantastic during the sideways and down period of GDXJ. Now that we've gone up strong, it's kind of underperformed. It's still doing its thing, going up, ready to break out and make new highs. It's a very good company. It's just not performed as well as silver stocks or even some of the other gold stocks. So, but anyway, I'm loyal to it, and I think it's a really good company. I also think the next level, yes, I nibbled a tiny bit out here, but that's very little, and it's worth still a decent amount. And honestly, this is the key. After this 3.65 zone, or 3.7 now, I don't see any resistance until all the way up here at 4.8. And I really mean that. I don't see four. Just looking at this, I see nothing. And that's a hell of a zone. So I actually don't think I'm going to be selling this for 30%. And I've sold it already here, 3.65, 64, I forgot what it was. So this could just do like a 30% move until I sell next. And again, once it hits this 4.8 zone, I don't see any resistance really until like 6 or 6.5. So this has big levels to reach and nothing like a vacuum in between, as far as I can tell. Obviously, if the miners start to drop all of a sudden, wherever it's trading, it will create resistance and then come back down. But that's the one good thing about Aris Mining. So I'm just going to hold this one patiently for sure. And this got good dividends, so it's not the worst one to hold. I am gold. Next one. I mean, this one I bought really recently. I bought I wanted to buy the breakout of 2.8. I was talking about this one as I was watching 4 or 5 stocks. It was this one and Equinox and Eldorado and B2Gold and Heckler. They've all done well. B2Gold, not as much, but Heckler, Eldorado, and Equinox, amazing. But I am gold, also amazing. I don't know which one's done best. Maybe Heckler, maybe Equinox actually, but this one's done amazing. I mean, since I bought it at 3, I bought it 305, I bought it 295, basically average 3, and since then it's just up like 25, almost 30% in a week and a half or something. So very happy. Now, have I sold? No, because this one I see is going up a lot. I really do. Normally I would sell here. It's at resistance, and I knew it. I saw it approaching. I saw it close below. But I am not like if it goes back down to 3 or lower, I'm buying. If it goes to 3.2, I don't know if I'd buy. It's just too close to my average. But if it goes down to 2.95, which again is close to my average, I just think it's such a massive drop. I'd probably buy it back. So if we're below 3, I'd probably start buying back. But honestly, I'm not selling here. I'll sell if we start to go above 5. For me, next resistance after this 3.8 zone is 5.2 actually. I just don't see resistance. I know the big numbers, but I see no resistance until 5.2. And if you zoom out, this is a really good stock, by the way, a really good company. Sorry, the stock's good too, but the company is good. I've heard a lot of good things. I think a lot of big boys are looking at it and licking their lips. But this one, it's one of the few where I see no resistance for a while, and I also want to hold it for a while, and I haven't sold it. I think it's a bit exceptional, but that's why it's also because it's my latest edition. So very happy with IAMGOLD, really. Next one, SBSW, Sibanye-Stillwater. This is, yeah, gold and silver related, but also platinum, palladium. This one, whilst I'm watching all my gold and silver stocks, this one gets a bit of a pass. I don't really watch it, but I have noticed it, it's up 2%. Okay, it's up above 5 now, is it? That's interesting. So we've taken out 2 resistances, 4.3, 4.8. Nice. First of all, we held the 4 zone very nicely. Really nice groundwork. But there you go. We took out 4.8. That's nice. Now we've taken out 5. Next stop. These are mini levels, but they count. 5.4. And then after that, 5.8. Now, these look like tiny levels, but they were the only levels I was looking at for weeks. We take out 5.4, we're going straight to 5.8. We take out 5.8, we're going to go much higher. And for me, that's 7. And it happens quickly, especially if platinum and palladium start to rally too, which they should, because commodities look like they're really starting the Super Bowl run. After 7, it's just probably won't be able to stop the momentum. 8, and then we'll see. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but you know, by then it's 100% move. So these horizontals, these are the levels I'm looking at. We've taken out the descending some time ago. That's why I bought it initially. My average is like 4 point something. So very happy with this one. Very happy. It's a risky one, but with the commodities going up, the metals going up, you know, all of them, copper, platinum, palladium, silver, gold, this one just, it also has rhodium and all this other stuff. I don't know. I don't even follow that. But this chart looks good. I think you take out 5.8, you can start looking at 7, 8, and then higher. Who knows? It could go to 20. That's retirable stuff for me. I mean, not in one stock, but honestly, if these stocks go all the way back up. All right, last one. GLGDF, still my weakest holding. I think this one is finally starting to break out. Yes, it is. So I've got this little 112 resistance. I think I have a sell in here, but it didn't touch. Just a little nibble. My average, believe it or not, is actually 1.2 something. So I'd be nibbling at a loss. But next stop is a 1.3. And I think I got a sell at 1.28. Again, a small nibble. But as soon as we start to take that out and run, which I think it will do because we've just taken out the descending, then I'm going to start doing aggressive sells. So I just want to get out of this one in the black. My objective here wasn't, well, it was to make money. It's just my new objective is to get out in the black because I don't particularly know or like this stock. I think now it looks good, but I initially bought it as like a late chase from a rally that happened months and months ago. So it doesn't fit in my portfolio. Again, I prefer the proceeds of this, a bit like MAG, to be instead in something like, you know, Equinox, Hecla, or just spread amongst my existing holdings. I really am very happy with my holdings. That's why, you know, I'm always looking at all the other stocks. But honestly, there aren't many I'm interested in, except the ones I already own. That'll do. I just don't have time to look at the other ones. Be nice to see what the gold market's doing, actually. Oh, big drop. Well, not so big. We'll see. Drop, 2309. It's not that big, but it's still almost 1%. Silver. Silver, something similar, 1%. Okay, let's see what happens by the time the market opens. All right. I hope you find that useful. Sorry for the black light, just run out of battery. And for the late portfolio update. Hopefully some of you guys find it of value. That'll do. Let's see. I intend to make some frequent videos because I expect every day to be pretty wild, especially for our sector. So good luck. We deserve it. Let's continue.